The worst movie ever made is like a lot of Olen's favorite ones.
Welcome to the Too Old or Pure Gold Movie Podcast. Today we have a special July 4th episode in celebration of Independence Day for our listening friends in the US. So in today's episode we're discussing, you can guess, the 1996 sci-fi classic Independence Day. The format of our podcast, two Gen Xers rewatch beloved movies from our youth to find out, are they really as good as we remember? To help us debate and ultimately pass judgment, we ask our millennial co-hosts to watch these movies for the first time and help us determine, are they too old or pure gold? Joining me today is my Gen X co-host, Mathew Stockton.
Hello.
Representing the millennials, we have regular host, comedian Will Corry.
Hey, hey.
And playing the role of Dara Turner today is Will Corry.
Hi.
Is that your Irish accent?
Yeah.
That is excellent. Before we get into this episode, just a reminder that we need your support to grow this podcast, so remember to follow us on social media and please recommend us to a friend. Today's movie is the 1996 sci-fi classic movie Independence Day, starring Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Randy Quaid, and a ton of other great actors. It's an all-star cast. The movie is directed by Roland Emmerich, and to me, Roland is a powerhouse. Before this movie, he directed Stargate and Universal Soldier, both great movies. So it seems to me that he's the perfect director for this movie. And more recently, he did The Day After Tomorrow, and if you like disaster films, that's one of the good ones.
I love The Day After Tomorrow. That's a great flick.
The tagline from this movie poster is, "The question of whether we're alone in the universe has been answered." That's tight. IMDb describes the movie as, "The aliens are coming and their goal is to invade and destroy Earth. Fighting superior technology, mankind's best weapon is the will to survive."
The will to survive.
Hey.
And I love to rag on these taglines, but that one was actually pretty good. Okay, for those of you that have not seen the movie, I asked my 93-year-old dad to watch all 2.5 hours of Independence Day and summarize the plot.
Independence Day is about aliens invading Earth to steal its resources. The basic story is simple, starting with an extraterrestrial mothership entering Earth, where it launches a swarm of armed flying saucers. A technician, David Levinson, decodes a signal revealing aliens' intention to destroy all cities. David immediately advises the president, who orders the captain of the fighter squad into action. But the president and his advisors know they have to escape, so they fly to a secret research station. The science director shows them a recently captured alien, but the creature comes to life and attacks him and the president. The president authorizes a nuclear attack, but the mothership is actually not destroyed. Next, they fly a captured alien saucer to the mothership to penetrate the force and infecting the operating system with the virus. The force, incidentally, just as a reminder of Star Wars, really. So this deactivates the force, and finally, a nuclear device is set to destroy the mothership, and the fighters can take care of the remaining saucers, and the Earth is truly able to celebrate a worldwide Independence Day.
Wow, very succinct.
I like that he ties it back to Star Wars, knowing that this is only the third sci-fi movie he's ever seen that I can remember.
Is that for real? He's never seen other sci-fi?
Well, he's not a big Hollywood movie guy. The kinds of movies we cover here, it's so funny because he was my dad in the 80s when I was watching all of these movies, and he doesn't know any of these titles. Almost all of these movies are new to him.
Wow.
And The Star Wars references, because we just did a Star Wars episode for May the 4th, right? It was a fun episode, and he had to watch that, and he had never seen Star Wars before.
No way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What did he think of Star Wars? Sorry, I know this is the wrong pod.
You know what? He didn't. No, it's fine. He didn't love it or hate it. I mean, he recognizes it as culturally significant, and he was very interested to see it and study it. He read for hours about Star Wars, but end of the day, I don't think he loved it. Just like this movie, I don't think he loved this movie, but that's a 93-year-old perspective. Well, I'll tell you guys this. So Dara Turner did not show up, but I talked to Dara on Friday, and what I think is funny is that he paid to rent this movie and doesn't get to be on the podcast now. So that's the funniest thing about this episode. But he told me he loved this movie. Like, he was raving about this movie. So there you go. What did you guys think of it?
I mean, agree. It's I wish I could have been. I mean, what year did this come out? 99?
96?
96? Yeah, so I was 1 year old when it came out. I wish I could have been a kid, like, especially like an American kid, because it's Independence Day.
It is, yeah.
And it came out in the summertime. Like, I would have loved to gone to the theater and just seen like the White House get blown up. Like, that would be so much more impactful. But I don't remember when I did watch it for the first time, but it's a smash hit. It's such a good movie, I think, in my opinion.
Okay. That's high praise, because you're not super easy to please with movies. I know you're a harsh critic of some of these ones, so nice to hear you like this. Mathew.
It's the ultimate 90s blockbuster, isn't it? I think, it's total popcorn entertainment, but I think it's executed so well with some real craft that it sort of rises above the cliches that it actually helped define. You know what I mean? Like, you can see there's so many bad versions of this movie now, right? Like, just sort of people taking some of the cliches it made. But this movie is just, every time I watch it, it's entertaining and I like it. I like it. It juggles so well, sort of funny without being spoof. Sometimes I kind of don't like American jingoistic flag waving America fuck yeah moments so much, especially these days. But it's called Independence Day, so you gotta let it have that. Like, I always think it's funny that it's the United States that's killing the aliens in so many of the movies. And I think the cast just comes together. It works so well. Like, this movie, it's popcorn. It's fun, but it's really good. And I've seen it probably 10 times in my life, and I like it every time I watch it.
It's such a good rewatch. Like, you can't really get sick of it. It's honestly, it's like the way Mathew was saying it. Like, all the cliches. Like, it hits so many strong cliches, but you still enjoy it. I would liken this movie to like McDonald's. Like, universally loved. It's always reliable. Is it the healthiest or most culturally artistic movie in the world? No, but it's gonna hit the spot every time.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
You should have written a review for this.
When you're in the mood for it, it hits the spot, right? Like McDonald's,
Exactly.
right? You wouldn't want to eat it all the time, but when you want a Big Mac, you gotta get a Big Mac, right?
Yeah.
You guys are gonna like the reviews, because the haters of this movie, you guys hit on all of the points that they really disliked about this movie when we get there. And Mathew, I think it's interesting what you say about the U.S. part. Obviously, this is America Saves the World, and I think if you're American, you're going to love this movie, right? Because America saves the world, and I think that's okay. And any country is going to do that if they're filming this. Like, I think we should do a version with Mounties saving the world. I think it'd be hilarious on horseback with their leather satchels and their big hats, riding towards the alien. I think it'd be good.
Or with the nuclear submarines that we're ordering from South Korea.
Before we move on, I have a question for you guys at any point in the pod, but just want to put that out there. But keep going.
Okay, let me just give my summary. So my quick take is, I love the movie too. I love disaster movies, and this is kind of an alien disaster movie, right? I love shit getting blown up. It's a fun watch. The cast, like, I think it's jam packed, maybe too packed with the cast, but I love them all. But I love them all. There's so many fun characters that I I love that part of it.
And it's one of these movies, Olan, that's really big, but you actually care about the characters.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody shines in this film.
But one of my criticisms of this movie, and I've got a couple. I did love the movie. We'll get that out of the way. But one of my criticisms of the movie is I do think it's a bit long, right? There are parts of it that drag, and we'll talk about that in the discussion. So for me, I love this movie, but I'm not sure, 10 years from now, I will rewatch again in its entirety. I think this is a great, watch the best parts movie. Skip through a bit of the character development, skip through a bit of the dialogue, and get to some of the fun parts. But great movie. I'm not complaining.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd only do that, though, because you know it, right?
Yeah, of course. I saw this. So, Will, I saw this in the theater. I was one of those guys that went to see it in the theater. Great experience because, in a way, I don't think we had these big, and I'm going to keep calling it a disaster film because I think that's what it is. We didn't really have these big disaster films at this scale yet. I mean, we had Towering Inferno, very similar movie to this, I think, with the ensemble cast, the huge cast, and the disaster and the urgency, but we didn't have anything like this. It was pretty cool. You can see why it was. I mean, it's no surprise it was a blockbuster hit. Find out how much later, but
I would probably go on to assume to say the special effects around that time probably this was a little groundbreaking. Like seeing the White House get blown up, that's awesome. I don't know if other movies had that kind of.
They did not. So I'm gonna spoil some of the trivia for you right now.
Love it.
Which is on the special effects. So this movie uses practical effects. So shout out to practical effects, right? So everything that was done was models, building little models of the White House and then actually blowing up that model. This is before digital effects. So shout out to that. This movie holds the world record for the most modeling done in a movie ever. It's got over double the budget of modeling of any other movie ever made before, and they figure that this movie is going to hold that record forever, for eternity, because of digital effects. Now nobody spends that much money on these effects, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And
but wouldn't sort of remember Iman? She was a model. She was in a few movies. That was a lot of modeling.
Yeah, maybe French models. Okay, so what makes this movie so good? I think a lot of it is the scale. I mean, we've had sci-fi movies before this, but usually the sci-fi movies are like, E.T., one cute or one horrible alien that's messing everything up. It's just the scale of this was so big.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also the humor. So you hadn't really seen many sort of, as you call it, a disaster film, Olen, but like alien invasion, where so often it's all so serious, right? But this has humor in it, right?
You're right.
Which was kind of new at the time.
So, somewhat new. We've talked about this before. This is actually a little bit of buddy cop formula in here. Yeah. And we always cite 48 Hours as the first movie where they really introduced humor into these action films. But yeah, this was definitely one of the early ones.
I want to give a little shout out to the aliens in this movie, because I think every great hero needs a great villain. Every great protagonist needs a good antagonist. The aliens, they're kind of like this weird, ominous force. You really don't know their intentions until they start, blowing up the White House and stuff. And then the scene, we can get into best parts later, but the scene where they take, what's his name, Randy Quaid?
Yeah,
I don't know his character's name. When they take him in the lab and they kind of mind control through him and he's talking. Such a great introduction of the villain of the film, and I don't know, I just thought that was cool.
If I can build on that, what I thought was really good is I love the idea that an alien is just nothing but a predator that's here just to, they don't want to make peace, they don't want to talk to us, they don't want to understand us, they just want to kill us and take our resources.
By the way, humans would literally do that, but we wouldn't give them the benefit of letting them know.
Well, I did have a question. Is this basically the story of Elon Musk? Because the whole idea of going to another planet and just taking all of its resources and moving on, I think that's his vision for the future of humanity.
Ooh, yeah, it's very similar.
So some notes on scale, just because I found this interesting. I looked it up. The mothership was 550 kilometers in diameter. There were 36 destroyer ships, each one 24 kilometers in diameter. So that's about the size of Manhattan. And when I was watching this film, I thought, just fire a nuke at these guys, right? Well, the blast radius on Hiroshima was 3.2 kilometers. And there's actually no nukes today that could eliminate this ship, only damage it. Ignore the force field, because they had the whole force field issue. But even without the force field, there's no nukes big enough to take that down. Wow. Another fact you might find interesting. They went over the 36 most populated centers. That would actually only eliminate 8.5% of the population on the planet.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that crazy? And Will, I'm going to have to ask you the Dara question.
Please.
So, Will, acting as Dara, do you think they would have had one of these ships over Ireland, or would Ireland be safe in this?
I mean, I'll tell you what, if I was one of the aliens, that'd be the first and only place I'd destroy. Yeah. No, Ireland, there's like 3 million people there. It's such a... And also, what do they have? They don't have a space program. I don't think they're any type of threat.
We would have had to ask Dara. We'll never know because he didn't...
To be honest, the Irish, knowing them, they would join forces with the aliens. Those turncoats. Honestly, this is I have to lay into the Irish because Dara no-showed. He's not here to defend himself, so that's just the way it is. But no, they would not have. What are they gonna friggin' blow up a dumpster fire? It's kind of pointless. So.
Oh my God!
I hope we have so many Irish listeners.
This is my favorite. We do have Irish listeners. I can verify that we do.
And I'm just gonna apologize to our Irish listeners. That was spoken from a man who's never obviously been to your beautiful Emerald Isle.
Well, Mathew, I think we learned all we need to know from the Leprechaun episode. So,
jeez Louise.
Yeah, that was basically National Geographic for Irish people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean that was almost a documentary. So,
I'm going to an Irish friend's house after this. I'm going to tell her what you said, Will.
To be honest, I've met many, many lovely Irish people, and every time I'm very surprised.
Well, you're on fire today. Did you just come straight from a gig?
Oh, basically, I just rolled out of bed.
Nice. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the cast. So Will Smith, he's just coming off of Bad Boys, and this is just before he does Men in Black. Like, is this his best movie? Is this the movie that really kicks him off?
Ooh, what else?
Do you guys even like Will Smith? I need to ask that because I'm a bit ambivalent.
Currently, he's not doing much for people named Will. He's tarnished our reputation a little bit. A lot of my new coworkers have nicknamed me Will Smith, and I've been begging them to release me of that nickname. Yeah, his current reputation is not great. But as an actor and as a fan of his films, I love Will Smith. I think I could name like 10 movies that he's been in that are freaking awesome. Independence Day, Men in Black. He was Muhammad Ali. He was...
is Bagger Vance on your list?
He's done... Is what? Is who?
Bagger Vance?
Bagger Vance? I don't even know. Is that a movie? Is that one of his movies?
It's a golf movie, yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it. No, I'm a huge fan. I think he's super talented and obviously like a blockbuster machine.
I like iRobot.
Oh my God, iRobot, amazing. 7 Pounds, that's another good one I like.
Well, since Nicole's not here, I'm going to say something.
Nice.
I liked Will Smith until his wife ruined him.
Oh.
That's fair. That's a fair comment.
Yeah. I think the problem is Will Smith, to me, has become somewhat like Tom Cruise, where you see their horrible antics. Tom Cruise is in a very different way as human beings. Like Will Smith in the business and couldn't handle a joke and in front of a billion people, like got physically abusive to a comedian. It's like after that, I can't watch him in a movie and not see this guy's kind of an asshole anymore.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because I always thought I had a view of Will Smith, I think maybe through his characters, that he was sort of kind of a nice guy and kind of cool. And then I saw that and I'm like, oh God.
It's funny. I had a view of him through his characters that he's cocky, like he's always been sort of in these cocky in these roles that he does, which is entertaining. But I feel like he's grown into his characters, and he's a little bit like that in real life now. Believes his own shit.
He really ruined his own brand with one slap.
Yep.
I agree with you guys. I think that's totally valid. But he's also got range. Like he's not just the blockbuster guy. You know, Pursuit of Happiness. Like
he's got range. Yeah, he's good.
He can lay it down. He can cry pretty dope. So, but no, he is a weirdo cuck loser now.
Yeah.
Well, another cast member that I just wanted to call out because it was for me just a great job, Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah.
I loved him in this role, and it made me wonder, why did he not act more? Like, we know he can sing, but who cares? I want him in movies like this.
Well, he started as a singer, didn't he?
Yeah, but I want him as an actor. I thought he did a great job. Why was he not in more roles?
I used to watch American Idol, and he was a judge for many years on some of the seasons of American Idol. And I actually didn't know he was a singer until he joined that show. Like my mom told me.
Yeah, jazz.
I knew him as an actor, I guess. I don't know what other things I saw him in. And he was the most annoying American Idol judge ever because he was such a like technical vocalist or whatever. Like someone would audition and he'd be like, "Yeah, your pentatonic sofrito is so that like he would use all these dumb." I'm like, just say they're a good singer or not. Like he was such a dork about it. But great actor. Yeah, he did a great part in this film.
Well, he was second choice for that role. First choice, it was offered to Mathew Perry.
Oh, rest in peace. Chandler Bong.
So which one would you have rather had, Will?
Oh, I'm a big Perry fan. You can't go wrong with either. I don't know. I think you're fine with either.
Okay.
You know, I think my favorite character in the movie was Harvey Firestein as Marty Gilbert.
Oh yeah.
That camp New Yorker, dry, neurotic New York humor. Like Harvey Firestein and that voice, whenever I see him in a movie, I just love him. He's great.
Yeah,
I think he added a lot. He's only there. He's not there very often, but I think he added a lot to the film.
Yeah. Shout out to Mrs. Doubtfire. He was great in that. Okay, so this is an ensemble cast movie. So this is like Towering Inferno or one of the movies we reviewed, Cannonball Run, where you just take like tons and tons of, I'll call them B-level stars, a couple of A-level stars, and throw them in the same movie. Like it's packed with cast. Was it too much, or did you guys enjoy that? Because I enjoyed that part. I love ensemble movies.
I wouldn't say it's too much. I think they balanced everyone's roles like pretty well, and everyone got their moment to kind of shine. Some, like you said earlier in the pod, Olen, some stuff I think dragged on. Like I didn't particularly care too much for, like Will Smith's love interests.
What about Randy Quaid's kids? Like my next question for you guys: 2.5 hours, was it too long? And Will, you hate long movies, like and we're all sort of loving this movie, which is great. But I felt on rewatch, I don't remember this from the first time, but on rewatch, I felt the first third dragged, and I don't really give a shit about Randy Quaid's kids in this. It was too much character development.
Yeah, I think the whole Randy Quaid subplot was kind of added some length to this film that didn't need to be there, and his subplot felt sort of cartoonish, even for this movie.
Same role he played in Vacation.
Yeah.
I could agree with that. Like some of the things you kind of let them drag on, but for all the main cast members, I thought everyone got their moment to shine. It was pretty good.
So Mathew, we just did the Star Wars episode for May the 4th. Did you notice that the spaceship's slipping in from the top of the screen? I mean, that was Star Wars that did that the first time. They had the same sort of thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Pretty cool. It's very effective. Okay, so I'm weaving in a bit of the trivia into this discussion today. So, the briefing room scene at Area 51 behind Hiller and Gray, there was a night vision pan of the base. That's actual footage of the real Area 51 taken by a conspiracy theorist from a place called Freedom Ridge, which has now been shut down by the military.
Wow.
So one of these conspiracy guys got up there, actually filmed it, and they've since shut down that area where you can see the base from.
That's very cool. Do you guys believe any of the conspiracy theories for Area 51?
I bounce back and forth. I'm a wanna believer, right? Like I want to believe. I think all of that stuff is so fun to think about. Like, it's hard to believe that if there was a crashed alien and ship from the 1950s that we haven't heard about it yet. We're 70 years later. Like, are you telling me Donald Trump isn't taking his power and going down to Area 51 and saying, "Show me the alien,"
Yeah.
and putting a "Make America Great" hat on him? Like,
Yeah, totally.
totally. So for that reason, I feel like maybe not.
I've been to Area 51.
You have?
Yeah, Mike and I went down. It was fun.
As a guest.
Oh my god.
No, we went down, and Mike, there's all these signs that say don't approach the gates. So I stayed well behind. Mike saunters up with his camera right to the gate, and then the alarms go off. So there's a back gate to Area 51. There's a little diner that you turn left to where the diner is when you get to the diner. And I'm like, Mike, I was so pissed off because I'm like, all these signs, it's the American military, and all these signs say don't approach the gate.
Yeah.
Mike just walks right up with his camera, and then the alarms go off. I thought he's going to shit himself.
I have a conspiracy theory about Area 51. I think Area 51 is the place they want us talking about. Like, it's the little, like, government's like, hey, look at
the
this.
red herring.
Think about this. Where in reality, they've got Area 69 somewhere else. And
I want to go.
Area
I want
69.
to go to Area 69.
and that's where they're doing the real deals, you know? Like, Area 51 is just to keep everyone, bothered and focused.
69ing aliens.
That's what I would do if I was them.
Well, I guess if you're all
think
powerful, why not?
I think we pay too much attention to that stuff and not attention to like the flying people into areas out of jurisdictions to torture them.
True.
It's like I think there's enough like actual terrible reality that
Yeah.
why be fascinated about the potential for an alien when governments all over the world are doing evil shit to human beings, right?
Totally.
But you have to believe there's something out there, right?
No, you don't. Like in Area 51, you don't have to.
No, I don't think it's Area 51. I'm moving on to aliens in general, and I'm just thinking with the scale of the universe, there has to be something.
Oh God,
out there.
there's probably billions of planets with intelligent life on it. They're just so far away.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that gives me solace if we eventually blow ourselves up or die off. I just like to think that, there's probably lots of planets out there that got their crap together. It's not such a big deal if we do it.
Well, I do think that I like the depiction that these aliens are just parasites coming to rape us of all of our resources here. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like to believe that aliens don't have a sense of humor.
Interesting. I had a question before we move on. I was going to ask this earlier, but where do you guys think this ranks on a list of alien movies, and what are your other favorite alien movies of all time?
Well, Alien. And in that franchise, I'm actually an Alien 2 guy. Alien's obviously a classic, but Alien 2, where they dial up the action. Mm-hmm. I love Alien as a sci-fi movie. Sci-fi, so the same director did Stargate, and I'm dying to do Stargate on this podcast. I don't know if you've seen it, Will, but that is good. Don't watch it till we do the pod.
Okay.
It's a really fun sci-fi movie. I like that one.
Cool.
Matthew, what do you got?
Alien movies. My husband watches tons of alien movies.
E.T., that's your favorite, right?
E.T. is good. I like Close Encounters of the Third Kind because it was like one of the first ones I saw when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like that was great.
Okay. On this theme, Will, do you prefer this or Cocoon?
Oh my God, Independence Day, 10 times out of 10.
Okay, Matthew, would this movie have been better with Wilford Brimley?
No.
Oh, come on. He would have been great in this.
You don't need Wilfred in this.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So one thing I noted here is this the longest movie to simple story ever? Meaning the story is dead simple and it goes 2.5 hours to get us through it.
Yeah, it is a bit of a drag.
I'm really surprised, Will, that you're not pushing back more in the length of the movie, because that's your jam.
I think
So
it's just so enjoyable. There's so many parts. Like the action just keeps coming. It's easy enough to understand storyline. Like you're never really bored in it. So, but by the way, I don't like long movies when the movies suck. But I'll watch, Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, or Goodfellas, or Wolf of Wall Street. Like any movie that's amazing. If you can make me sit there for 3 hours, I'm fine with that. But
that's great. Okay, well let's roll out the best parts of this movie. I've got quite a list here. You guys want to hear some of my picks?
Please.
So first of all, I like an honest young president. Like, I'm so tired of all our leaders being these decrepit, old, crooked guys that just a depiction of it was just a nice breather, right? To think about getting a president that's mid-40s, smart, and nice. Mm-hmm. And with that, I like a president that fights. The idea that he got into that fighter jet and said, I'm going too, love it.
Very cool. One of my favorite moments, and this was also, I think, one of the funniest moments in the movie, is when Will Smith's love interest's roommate, the hippie girl, goes to the top of the building to not protest, but support the aliens. Like she goes with some hippies to wave signs of love and peace and stuff, and then they get absolutely lasered to death. I thought that was so funny. I don't think it was meant as a comedic moment, but
I love that scene. I laugh.
Yeah, where she's just she's like, welcome, and then gets vaporized. Like
it's like, you stupid hippies.
Yeah, literally. I don't know where that came from, but I just thought that was so funny.
I actually revel in it. I'm like, because it's so funny. It's just because they're so naive and they just get blasted. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. Super funny.
I also I know that it's campy, but just the scene at the end with two guys smoking cigars emerging from the desert. Mm-hmm. That's always cool. That's always going to look cool.
You know what my absolute favorite alien movie is? Actually, I just recently saw it, and really, truly my favorite one is Arrival.
Oh my God, I was going to say that, Matthew.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a really smart one.
Because it's smart. It's smart and it's good, and there's not lots of blowing up. There's a little scuffle when they try to blow up, but there's only one explosion. But it's just a smart movie.
Shout out to Denis Villeneuve. I think he's one of the best directors we've got today, and Canadian at that.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's from Quebecois.
So,
Arrival's such a good movie.
I've got a little best worst trade-off here to talk about, maybe a little controversial. So on best, I had the models, because we said they did a ton of practical effects here with models that I think they did a good job. But I do have a question. I was watching the movie and I was rewatching again. I watched some of the scenes a second time when they're leaving the spaceship and all the little spaceships flying. And I thought, are these actually better than Star Wars, which was 17 years earlier? Because the practical effects and models in Star Wars were so good. And this was great, but I don't think they were better. 17 years later, I would have thought there'd be a little bit of an improvement. Am I being too harsh?
I don't know. I think Star Wars, when I compare the two, I feel like Star Wars, it's all in space. It really kind of immerses you. You feel like you're in space. Maybe that's part of it. Whereas this movie, a lot of it takes place on Earth, and then the aliens are kind of this external force. So I definitely feel like the world building is better in Star Wars. But yeah, I don't know, that maybe they should have better effects. 17 years ago.
No, I thought it was good.
Do you guys want to talk about worst parts?
Please.
Yeah, I think some of the over the top Americana always bothers me. Because it's just so jingoistic.
I know, but it's, Every country's going to do that. Like, imagine.
But nobody does it quite like America.
That's true. That's true.
And there's a lot of tech nonsense, like uploading a computer virus with a 1996 Mac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Disc.
That is hilarious.
But I do love when Boomer, like the slow motion Boomer leaping to safety scene. I love that dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, worst parts.
Like, if you had to nitpick this movie, Will, what is it that you didn't like?
I didn't particularly love the army of RV like rednecks like driving through the desert or whatever. Like the president jumping in the jet, like I think you mentioned that earlier. That's super unrealistic.
Maybe unrealistic, but I loved it. I think it was really cool. I wish we had a president that would behave like that. Well,
Carney would do that. Carney would do that.
Carney would hop in.
For me, I mean, again, I've said this a couple times, but for me, it's a lot of the early character development, like that whole backstory with Randy Quaid's kids, the backstory with Will Smith's girlfriend. I didn't really need all of that. I would have been happy to just jump into it and accept that Randy Quaid is crazy, but has a reason for doing this, that, you know, Will Smith has a reason for doing this.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, let's move to favorite lines.
Yeah, I don't think Will Smith's girlfriend actress was very good in the movie.
Nope.
Vivacious Fox?
It's an ensemble cast, and they didn't roll out like a famous person for that.
Yeah, it's an ensemble cast, and then like the main guy's love interest was just sort of, who's that? I can't remember her name or ever seeing her in another film.
Exactly.
I'm sure she has, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, it's her fault, not ours, that we don't know.
Yeah.
Best lines. This one's a classic. Will Smith punches the alien in the face. Welcome to Earth.
Perfect.
Unreal.
You're never
like-
going to get to fly the space shuttle if you date a stripper.
Yeah, yeah. I also love. I forget when this was said, but it's the Judd Hirsch character, and he's like, "All you need is love." John Lennon, smart man, shot in the back, very sad. That was just like a nice little dry humor. Yeah. What else you guys got?
I forgot to say in best parts for me, Goldblum. Like, I love the guy and everything he does. He's so good. And so one of my favorite lines is, "Forget the fat lady. You're so obsessed with the fat lady." When Will Smith says, "Fat lady hasn't sung yet," forget the fat lady.
It's good stuff.
I really liked Harvey Firestein's lines. So just the one where he goes, "Oh crap," and the other one, "I gotta call my mother. I gotta call my lawyer. Oh, forget my lawyer." He's like perfect New York neuroses, right?
I got a little piece of trivia for the lines here. So Will Smith's line, "And what the hell is that smell?" was completely unscripted.
Oh wow.
That was filmed in Great Salt Lake, which is home to tiny brine shrimp. And when they die, the bodies sink to the bottom of the lake. When the wind kicks up just right, the smell of millions of decaying brine shrimp can be quite awful.
Oh wow. Interesting.
So that worked out. Well, why don't I tell you how this movie did? I think we all know it did well, right? So, according to Box Office Mojo Worldwide, Independence Day was the highest earning movie at the box office in 1996. It beat everything. And this was no slouch of a year at the movies. This is the year we had Twister, Mission Impossible, Jerry Maguire, and one of my favorite movies, The Rock. And it even beat out Tin Cup.
Whoa.
Braveheart was the best picture winner this year. How do you guys feel about Braveheart? Are you Braveheart people?
Never actually seen it.
Yeah, it's people go crazy for that movie. I'm just kind of meh. But
Again, somebody else who ruined his own brand by being
that's true.
Hardcore Catholic.
Dara and Josh were telling me recently they wanted to write a sketch where it's Braveheart, but they're like the guys at the back of the army, and they're like, "What's he saying? Is he saying something? Like we can't hear him." Like
I always thought my favorite thing about movies like Braveheart is that you've got all of these horrible looking people with rotten teeth, disheveled looking, and there's always one good looking guy and one good looking girl. And guess who gets together? Anyhow, so back to this. So awards, this won for best visual effects and was nominated and lost for best sound mixing. by the numbers. The budget was $75 million. We know it did well. How big do you think it did?
Probably double that, at least maybe 150 million.
Mathew?
Box office at the time, or is this like everything ever?
This is box office ever, so it doesn't include all of the video sales and DVDs and all
Because
that.
this was like super big. I'm gonna say like $700 million.
$300 million. $306 million on 75. So it was a blockbuster, no doubt. It surpassed E.T. 1982 as the highest grossing original movie worldwide and held the record until it was surpassed by Avatar in 2009. It got the record for the fastest to 100 million in 7 days, the fastest to 200 million, the highest single day gross, the largest opening weekend, and it surpassed Jurassic Park for the highest 5-day gross. So this was a juggernaut.
Wow.
But the question is, if you're thinking about Rotten Tomatoes, whether people recommend this film or not, critics and audience, what do you think? Did critics like it? Did audience like it?
I would have to guess it's probably beloved on both sides. I'm sure critics probably had some dumb little flaws they found in it, but it's a smash. It's a hit.
So what's your guess on numbers?
Let's go 70% critics, 85% audience.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was going to say, but I might have to make it. Literally, those are the numbers I was going to say, dude.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
So 70% critics. I'm going to say 69% critics. I'm what do you call it? Price is Right on you.
Yeah.
And what do you say for audience?
85.
I'm going to say 84.
Oh my God. You got very prices righted. You guys were dialed in. So critics 68.
Oh.
Okay.
You guys were dialed in. And audience, you not quite 75. So they're almost equal. You know, basically 3/4 of them said this movie's worth seeing. Get out and see it. So Mathew, you won with a 10. You prices righted Will, who had a 12. Will, I believe that's your best score ever.
Wow.
I almost prices righted the other way.
Yeah, you did a negative Price is Right, which is not advised, but it worked for you this time. Okay, so a little bit of trivia. So apparently the U.S. military agreed to support the film by allowing the crew to film at military bases and consulting with the actors who had military roles, but after learning of the Area 51 references in the script, they withdrew their support, which makes me ask, what are they hiding? As I mentioned, this holds the record for the most miniature model work to appear in one film. By double.
More than the Stuart Little franchise?
Slightly more.
Wow.
The production designer presented Roland Emmerich with 2 concepts for the aliens, and he liked them so much that he came up with the idea to use one as the actual alien and one as the biomechanical suit that he wears.
Oh.
The president's speech was filmed in front of an old airplane hangar that once housed the Enola Gay, which dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima 50 years earlier. And interestingly enough, Bill Pullman's delivery of the president's speech was so good that the audience was not scripted to start cheering, but they all started applauding and cheering, and the filmmaker kept it in.
I kind of hate when I'm in theaters and audiences do that. I'm like, what do you think? This is a plane that we just landed? Like...
When this film was first pitched, it was described as War of the Worlds meets Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction? I don't know about that.
No.
And get this one, Mathew. The film was banned in Lebanon under pressure from Hezbollah because it included scenes where Israeli and Iraqi soldiers worked together.
That's so funny.
Fuck you, Hezbollah.
They're so petty.
Hezbollah and
They struggled a little bit to get the rights to the name Independence Day, and up until that point, they were going to call it Doomsday. Other suggestions were Invasion, Sky on Fire, and the End of the World.
Independence Day is best.
Independence Day hits the hardest for sure.
And on casting, Kevin Spacey was pitched to be the president, but the studio refused him because he was not thought to be a big enough star.
Wow.
And Will Smith was always the first choice, but second place, Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that would have been so good.
It would have been a very different movie, though.
Very different.
Okay, woke or joke, anything?
You know, I think for a 1996 film, right, it's an incredibly diverse cast. Like Will Smith and whoever plays his girlfriend aren't side characters. They're like the central heroes of the thing, two black people, right? Which is great. And, you know, a few macho one-liners, stuff like that. I would call it woke in the way that, like, I think woke, it's so funny. Woke is such a loaded word. It's just a cool movie. And, like, it's just, people aren't, it doesn't have racist or homophobic, misogynistic anything in it. It's just a good film. And I like films that are, like, woke without trying to be woke. I hate trying to be woke stuff, right? But this one, if you think about it, 1996, they had like black heroes and just, I don't know. I think it was just absolutely cool.
I can't think of anything, so I'm going to give the award to Hezbollah for not liking the idea of Israeli and Iraqi soldiers working together.
The only thing that comes to mind is the Will Smith's girlfriend, the stripper, gets kind of like slut shamed a bit for being a stripper. But then she kind of holds her own, and she's like, yeah, I'm not ashamed of it or whatever. Like she
that's always going to happen, and she stands up for herself, right?
Yeah. So there's not
actually.
Really
I found it cool that like they cast her as a stripper, right?
Yeah.
Like that. It's sort of like that's the character, which is cool. It's not sort of this like housewife or this or that. I thought it was kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Well, however you guys felt about the movie, I promise you there's others who liked it more or less than you. And for this movie, there's a whopping 161 10-star reviews out of 1,103 total reviews. The movie is basically universally beloved, and in general, a lot of the reviews call it just good fun. Will, you really summarized it at the top, what the reviewers are saying, the 10 stars. They call it just good fun. And these reviewers take exception to the haters who bashed it for the lack of believability. And I have to agree, we don't need scientific accuracy in alien invasion movies.
No.
So here's some thoughts from the Uber fans. This came out the summer I graduated high school. It was my second biggest highlight of 1996, which makes me wonder what his first highlight was.
Wow.
I love this film. I'm tired of everyone else ragging on it. This film is what summer is about, having fun. The picture is entertaining, enjoyable, and fun.
Yep, I agree.
I loved the movie's message about mankind needing to come together because we do not really know what is or is not out there.
Good.
I've seen this movie 100 times and it's still fantastic. That's dedication. I needed to be inspired. America leading the world. It's what the world expects.
Oh, God.
And then...
not anymore.
This one was interesting. Jacob John Taylor says, this movie is very scarier. It's scarier than The Exorcist, and that's not easy to do. This is scarier than Alien, and that's not easy to do. I didn't find it really scary. Did you guys?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, let's hear from the haters. So surprisingly, there were actually a lot of them. I had to read a total of 136 one-star reviews compared to the 161 10-star reviews. So a lot of haters. I'm surprised. In general, the main complaints are from those who find aspects of it unbelievable. Okay. And complaints
it's an alien invasion movie.
And complaints that the U.S. is too often depicted as the world's savior.
Yeah, that's the one part that bothers me.
And this surprised me. Like, whatever you think of it, a lot of people call it the worst movie ever made. And I always find that fascinating. Like... Whatever you think of this movie, it's not the worst movie ever made.
It is not. The worst movie ever made is like a lot of Olen's favorite ones.
Ouch. do not say Roadhouse.
Let's not forget about White Knights, Matthew.
Good one.
White Knights is great.
Okay, so I just want to give a few examples of the hate. So this one, great effects, awful plot, legendary unrealism. So that's The Scientist. Here's one. In a few hours, the scientist has it all figured out. Create a computer virus, put it in the mainframe of the mothership. The aliens use Microsoft too, after all. We don't have to worry about security or passwords, and the aliens are so stupid they don't use Norton's antivirus software. And then this guy's really hating. This one is one of the worst movies ever made, and when you compare the stupidity proportionate to the amount of money spent, it's the worst movie ever made.
Wow. Hater.
A sad commentary on the insecurity of a nation. And then Mathew. So for all you literature buffs out there, No one gets that this abysmal movie is an adaptation of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. Nowhere does Wells ever get credit for the original plot for this movie. In my opinion, it is out and out plagiarism right down to the computer virus that infects the flying saucers. 2 more just because they're so good. This reviewer says they could have cut an hour of this film and put it in the movie The Piano and no one would have noticed the difference. And worst film I've seen after Showgirls.
Wow.
What?
Showgirls catching a stray.
Showgirls is fun. Okay, we need to ask the professionals what they thought. So first of all, Siskel called Bill Pullman's portrayal of the president weak, which I kind of take exception to. I thought he was great. He says the movie spends too much time introducing a host of weak supporting characters. He gave credit to the introduction of the spaceship and the first few explosions as being exciting, but he said the finale was underwhelming. He was not a fan of the movie. Ebert said it was nothing more than a 1950s style alien movie and the aliens and spacecraft were underdeveloped. So they both hated this movie and it gave it 2 thumbs down.
Wow. That's such bullshit. Like, what the fuck? They've... What was the last one that I was on and they loved it? It was like another blockbuster hit. Was it Tin Cup or something?
Tin Cup they loved, yeah.
Like, how you come on. How you don't like Tin Cup, you don't like Independence Day? I know they're 2 very different films, but
yeah,
just turn your brain off for a second. Enjoy it.
Well, we just did Roxanne and they both loved Roxanne and Roxanne was fun, but this is a... But I think sometimes they're too snobby about,
Yeah.
film as opposed to just a fun blockbuster.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think they were ever great reviewers of just the big blockbusters. I think they kind of didn't like it. Mm-hmm. So does this movie deserve a remake, prequel, or sequel?
Well, it did have a sequel.
It did. The sequel to this film, Independence Day Resurgent, was done in 2016. It had a Rotten Tomatoes score of 29 critics and 30 audience, and it made $389 million, so it made more, on a $165 million budget.
It wasn't as good, but it was entertaining.
The sequel was dog shit. Like, absolute dog shit.
Well, due to its disappointing, although profitable performance at the box office, the planned 3rd movie was canceled.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Okay, let's wrap this up, guys. Is this movie too old or pure gold?
It's pure gold.
I'm going to say pure gold, and I'm loving these 90s hits that we're bringing into the pod these days. Like,
Great.
Because when we first started doing this pod, it was 70s and 80s. I don't think we've ever done a 60s film.
No.
No, but the 90s have some bangers, and this is definitely up there as one of them.
Well, I'm glad to keep you excited about the pod. What would Dara Turner say about this movie?
He was loving it. Like, when I talked to him about it, he was over the moon. This is right up his alley.
Okay, well, sorry he couldn't make it, but you represented the Irish well, Will.
No problem.
Thanks, guys. This was fun. Thanks for doing it. I will see you when I see you.
Later.
Sounds good.
I got to run.
Bye, Matthew.